guys, welcome back. I'm here today with Kristine. I'm so excited to share her really inspiring full recovery story. She is originally from Latvia, but has been living in Denmark for quite some time. I know it's quite late for you there now, Kristine, so I appreciate you doing this. But yeah, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Raelan. I'm super happy also to meet you, and I want to say thank you for your existence or your channel. I will talk about it later, but it was also part of my way to recovery. So I'm super happy to be doing this, actually.
That's so nice to hear, and so good of you to take the time to sort of pay it forward. Or I know that these recovery stories are helpful for a lot of people, so I'm sure people will really, really appreciate hearing yours today. So yeah, let's dive right in. Can you take us back? How did this all begin for you?
I was actually, as a child, I was never a very, healthy child. I was often sick, and people or doctors couldn't really figure out why. But then I had like my good and bad periods. But in 2021, after I got the corona shots, I got virus on top, and it seemed to be too much stress for my body, I guess, altogether, because I basically kept having like fever for a couple of months. I was really like feeling that I have some illness in my body. I also got some other symptoms, like I started having the heart arrhythmia, like heart like jumping out of rhythm. I wasn't able like to sleep properly. After a while, I couldn't fall asleep at all. And in the beginning, it was like, okay, it's hard to fall asleep, like when we are stressed or something. But after a few weeks, I ended up like even being in some sleep paralysis when I would lay down, like, and it feels that I cannot move, but I wasn't asleep, and I was still like sick. And then I went to the doctor and said, okay, I think I went after 3-4 weeks already. Said that's too long, for a virus. Can you please check me? And they checked, and they found that I had high level of inflammation, but they did scans. They couldn't find where the inflammation is. So basically, I was sent back home, where they said, okay, you're young. It's probably just very wrong virus. You should be recovering. And the weeks passed by, and it wasn't really getting better. It was getting worse, because I also was stressed. I used to be like super active, both full-time work, like outdoors hobbies, social activities, and then suddenly, things change. My life, it just kind of, it didn't end, but it decreased in its quality so much, like over, a few weeks. That was, really hard. In the beginning, I was like, okay, that's bad, but it's weird. I'm not recovering, so, doctors should help me. But then when they basically said, okay, I don't know, like go home, then I was like, okay, how should I live? All the things I love, my bike, like, will I be ever able, to ride it again? And my work, luckily enough, I had a very supportive chef, and she was like, oh, you can work from home while you're having this fever. You should take care of yourself. I mean, I was understanding that's not going to last forever, like, I was okay, for now it's okay, but like, what do I do in 2022? Is it forever? Is it going to stay here forever? The thought it was always in me, because like, I felt like there is no way out.
And that's scary. It can feel like your whole life is being taken away from you. I know it's not everything, but in that moment, it can feel like it really is everything. So what did you do from there?
First weeks, I was okay. I tried to rely on the health sector, they're going to help me. That didn't happen. Then also in the very beginning, I also tried to take some supplements, as many people, I think, do in this situation, like something to relax, some magnesium, some vacation. I was like trying, okay, now I give my body time to relax. I take some sleep pills like melatonin I got, All my friends were swearing, oh, if I'm jet lagged or something, I take it and it's gonna work. And I was thinking, okay, single doses, double doses, triple doses, it's not working. Like, it's just not working. I felt like I need to sleep to give my body time to recover, but, I didn't sleep, so it didn't really recover well. I also tried a few of like massage and like alternative therapies, and I also downloaded app for meditation. At some point I went all in. I got this Headspace, and I was like, okay, now I gotta meditate in the morning, in the evening, like really religiously. Nothing like seemed to help. Then I was also, my chef advised me to go, like, we have a psychologist support like for work. so it's paid, so I could go and talk to a psychologist. And then I went to her, and she was a really nice woman, and she was also suggesting all the typical things like body scans and relaxation. But still, it didn't really work, I had to fill some scheme at her place, and I was filling it in, and then she was like, oh, you're really like deep down in your emotional state. Like, she had this, color scheme where you go like from red to green, and she was like, yo, like at the bottom, like, are you okay? Like, you seems to be like positive person and so on, but you are not okay, like I can see when you answer honestly, like, and I sum it up, it looks very bad. And like, she really tried to help me, but yeah, she couldn't find the way through. But in that period, I think I tried so many things also because I was so desperate. I was like, okay, order this, order that, write on this, all the time I could keep my brain occupied and, was a bit fresh and not working. I was like, okay, I have to figure it out. I have to kind of fix this now. And here I cannot do this anymore. There should be a way out,
It's crazy how in these moments we all of a sudden have to become these health experts. Like, the health system that we rely on doesn't seem to have much for us. We're like, okay, I have to heal myself. Like, I'm exhausted and I'm sick and I can't think clearly and I don't know where to start.
It's like you already think, okay, maybe I'm losing my income, in a few months if it continues. And then you're like, oh, okay, you want to get some alternative therapy. It's, $200 or something. You're like, okay. But maybe I should try anyways, nothing to lose now, but.
Yeah, it's sort of like, what's the alternative? I find it's conflicting, like, whatever, money has no meaning. I just want my life back. I'm going to spend it all. But then also the stress of like, okay, money has meaning and I need to survive.
Yeah, I first saw an interview, I think it was a girl who lived in Austria, but she was Eastern European. I don't remember the name exactly, but she was a really nice lady, and like her story really spoke up to me. And I mean, I have a bit similar, life story. So I kind of listened to that story with interest, and then I started like browsing your channel because you had a lot of those stories to see like, okay, Eureka, she has this story, what else? And then I was like, okay, maybe I should also listen because I heard that Jason's story is also out there on your channel, and I should find this guy called Jason, and hear what's about him, Yeah, I listened to his story also, like was very sucked in, and I felt like, like there was something into me saying, you have it, the same way. Probably you will also come out of this the same way, like you should connect to this guy because like he found the way, he helped the lady, like you probably should like try to research and find where he is and what he's doing and what's with his program and what this brain retraining thing is. I actually didn't know about brain retraining before this, like I knew about many other things, but brain retraining was a new thing I found on your channel, and then I was like, okay, I will try it, like I tried already so many things, so it clicked inside, like when you listen and think, that's familiar, how the way they got there, the symptoms and the thing that could work for me.
I think that's so amazing. And I love that you trusted, your gut or whatever. But I hear this a lot. I love that there's so many options out there now and why I try to put so many things out there. And I don't filter it. Like lots of people will contact me and say, I'd like to share my story. And I just say, okay, I don't even ask how they recovered. I'm like, they might say it was aliens, whatever it is, like, just that's them. Like, it's not for me to judge. I put it out there, and then someone watching might be like, that sounds like what's happening for me. It's good to trust that.
I had this feeling from the moment I like heard her, already started getting this feeling. And when I heard Jason like presenting himself, I think I booked like free talk to him within 2 days or within a day. Like it was really short time after I heard him on your channel. And then I talked to him. I think I ended up even subscribing same night again or day after. I don't remember now exactly, but I remember I was sitting and like, oh, okay, he actually has, the program is not for free. It costs something. Am I that crazy? And then I was like, yeah, come on, like, it is this thing, like, there was something inside me saying, just, give this money and trust this guy and he will help you out. After, I think 1 week, like, training with Jason, I actually first time slept 8 or 9 hours through the night. Can you imagine? Like, just after 7 days. And that was like, after I wasn't able to sleep sometimes even a single hour, during the night, I was like, wow. Like, and then I knew it's, right. And from there, it was also, like self-fulfilling expectations because like his method is based like on that you believe things work and, they work and then you believe even more and then it gets better and better. Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh, I'm so happy that you were able to find something that worked. I mean, I know we probably can't share all the program details, But lots of people don't know what brain training is. I didn't know what it was until I started interviewing people that told me about it. So like, can you give us just a general sense of like, what does it look like to get into a brain training program like this? What sorts of things do you do?
I mean, it's a lot of imagination, but it's also, as I told, it's self-fulfilling expectation. It's I think building the belief, building confidence, and building also positive attitude to yourself, like caring attitude to yourself. But basically, as I see it now, it's also about, positive thinking, about believing. Just like people sometimes have religion and they believe in miracles and then things happen, it resembles it a bit. But it resembles because you make your brain, think certain way, and it kind of gets to think in certain patterns, and then like gradually, by thinking positively, like you take space from the negative thoughts and they get substituted with this positive thinking, and the more it gets substituted, the better your, mind and then your body has results from it.
Yeah, it's that. You explained that well. Thank you. It used to sound so foreign and crazy to me. Like, what is this brain training? But, and also I know, I say this a lot, but I know if people can feel that it sounds insulting. Like we're just saying, just think positively and believe and you will be better. And they're thinking, I'm seriously ill. Like it's more than that. It's more complicated than that. And it is more than that. But when you start to read some of the science behind it, related to the placebo effect and how our brain's beliefs impact what happens in our body, and the different symptoms we are feeling that are very real in our body but can be as a result of signals in our brain. And we want to overlook our brain, but it's a really important organ in our body. So learning to work with it. And I'm not going to pretend to understand all of it, but I've talked to enough people to really appreciate that it has a lot of power, these brain training programs. And there's no denying that tons of people are having, not everybody, but a lot of people are having really good success with them.
When I started, it was also like, okay, now you have certain amount times during the day. Imagine some positive things where you're relaxed, or I will not go into detail with respect for Jason, but it's like, I was also like, okay, I imagine 10 times a day something, or 20 times a day, and that's gonna work. But then I was like, okay, now you already kind of went this way, you paid, you decided to trust this guy, give it a try, and then, as I said, week later, I was like, I could fall asleep, and that was a thing in November. I contacted him, and in the end of December, after I actually had a bad cold, I was practicing it on my way on the ship to Norway, and then I was skiing for a week. And I was not just skiing 2 hours. I was skiing from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that was 4 or 5 weeks after, I started in the program with him. Yeah, it started simple, and it started with these small clues. I also went, I think a week after, I went to my psychologist, and then I had to fill the scheme again. And I felt it, and she was like, what the heck? You went from the, red to high green. You say, you imagine some things and talk to the guy. I want to know more about this guy, because, I also want to, learn new things in my profession. Because she was like, okay, what, how is it even possible, And it starts with changing, I think, your emotional state, your, well-being state, and then gets reflected into your health. And I don't really understand still how the thing work. That was really amazing. I was like, wow. I was mind blown because it went so quick, actually. I didn't expect to be it so quick.
Were you nervous, not trusting of it? It was a fragile kind of recovery, you might wake up sick again? How did you feel?
Actually, no, I didn't. And I think that's also part of, Jason's program, maybe that he's was really good example for me. So I saw him recovered and doing all the stuff he's doing and throwing so much. And then I knew it worked for him. It worked for others, people you had on your channel, and he had also some on his channel whom I also watched. And I think I was just believing into it so deeply from right away that I was just before I started, oh my God, am I saying I paying for something, and then I have to do some, thinking 10 times a day. But once I started and I saw, after this first week when I saw how things are improving, then I was I was persuaded. And I think the fact that I was persuaded, it helped me a lot. I also started, climbing, and I started also to check his method on other things, because it's brain retraining with respect to health, but it's also, his program is also amazing if you want, to achieve more in life, I believe, and set some goals and general positive attitude in life. So I was climbing, and then it was there were some hard problems, and then I would sitting and imagining that, I can do some of these things, climb up, with his methodology. And then I would be able to reach, for the tap. And then I was like, damn, this stuff works. And I was like, jeez, I climbed up. I used your stuff for something else. Imagine like... He was like, yeah, you go, girl.
That's incredible. I interviewed him a while back on my channel, right when I was in the middle of like starting snowboarding again after a really long time, and I was having a really tough time with it. And after my interview with him, I started using it with my snowboarding. Like it's crazy that just these tools, they work for so many different things in life.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, he also has some focus, on self-confidence and things like this. And I still, I use them, for example, now when I have to do some big presentation or stand in front of many people, then I use it, for some other aspects. So it's, as I said, it's not just only about the health, it's about like training, I guess, your brain in general. And that's amazing.
So do you think this whole process of, getting really sick and then recovery has changed you? Do you feel different at all than you were before?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly did. There are some things, I feel they change. Maybe they're not that visible, from outside, because, I still do the job I did before, and I kept many of the hobbies I had and got some other and so on. Yeah, I learned much more self-care. I learned much more prioritizing. I also got much more confidence. So in a way that was, I heard many people saying it was kind of challenge, but it was a gift, the things that they don't break us, they make us stronger, like become other people from that on the other side. So I feel like I got some personal skills which are like very different than what they were before. That's a good thing. That was a tough price to pay, but that's a very good thing. I felt like, I grew suddenly a lot by, in 2 months, I got much experience of several years,
It is. We do achieve things in times that are difficult, that are very hard to achieve when things are going smoothly. You said it well. It's a very high price. But many people I talk to say, they're like, it's hard to believe it, but I don't think I'd take it back. Like if I could make that whole experience go away, I don't think I could, because it's changed me and I've learned so much. And I have so many more skills and confidence is an important one. And not many people bring that up, but I think that is something that definitely, at least myself, it definitely changed that.
Exactly. And the attitude to yourself, it also changes, and to the way you prioritize things, and it has an effect. And I saw it's very varying from person to person. Some people, they go and decide we do totally different stuff. Some people maybe change relationship and so on. So
Kristine, I always find it exciting to hear what life, looks like for you now that you've got your health back. So, what are some of the things that you're enjoying, or what does it look like for you now?
Yeah, as I told, I'm fully back at my work, and I'm actually happy to be back because I regained my, social relationships, my connections. I'm again, free to plan the time with friends, throw a New Year's party here in December and things like this. This is really cool. And also, I was also very, very sad to lose all these outdoors activities I used to do, like mountain biking and running. And now I feel I can do anything of it. And I also did it in the summer, and we were traveling for 5 weeks, and we were doing activities. And I even try new stuff. I got into, powerlifting for now, and I kind of think it's really cool. And before I would never even think about it, because I will feel, my body gets, too stressed from, lifting these heavy things. I leave it for the guys, So, yeah, there is definitely life on the other side, and it's even better than life before, because you really value yourself and you really value your time and your health.
That's amazing. I am so happy for you. And it's so nice. It's really nice to hear when I talk to people that have been sick for decades and then they recover, because then it's like there's hope. But it's also equally as nice to hear people that didn't have to wait decades. So for people out there watching that have just gotten sick, they're like, do I have to do this for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? That, it's getting faster and faster, and people are finding what they need much quicker these days, now that we have so many more options available. So it's really nice to hear. I know it's been hell for you to go through, and I'm sorry for what you had to go through. And I'm sure it didn't feel short, but it's just nice to see that it didn't have to take you 20 years to find what you needed.
Yeah, it's a big advantage, I think, nowadays, that we can actually, for me, it was going on YouTube and, first on Google and writing, okay, I feel like this, what is this? Oh, it's CFS. Okay, or I'll go on YouTube, read find some people with that, who recover from CFS, and I find your channel, and things like this. I think the problem before was also that there was not so much information, so it was much harder to find your way, as you said, and now we are lucky to live at these times. when we can connect with everyone and everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Kristine. Really, I appreciate this. I love meeting you. I love your story. I'm so glad that you found what you needed, and I appreciate you taking the time to share it with other people. So thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Raelan. That was a pleasure to be here. I mean, I couldn't imagine myself being here when I was watching your videos, so that was a big surprise.
Yeah, it's happening more and more. People are, watching videos and then coming on to share their own story, which is so cool. I love connecting with so many people like yourself. Those of you watching, big hugs to you. I'm sending so much love to you. Keep at it. Love to hear in the comments what you think of this, and tell us what's working for you. You know, what has given you the most success recently. And I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of this, and I hope to see you in the next video.